Welcome back to the Speaking Nerd podcast, where not only have we fired AJ, but now we fired Alter too.
Mm-hmm. Dig on.
They're gone. It's just me and Swfte again. We're going back to the roots of our podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
so the
The
other
only
two
good portion.
out of the picture. But
Mm-hmm.
to celebrate this momentous occasion, we are going to be talking about the Guardians Volume 3 that just came out recently. I think last weekend. Yeah. So we've only seen it. The other two, I mean, who cares about the other two? So, yeah, we're just gonna go through it and talk about it. So, were you excited for this? Like the build up between like from Volume 2, Infinity War, all that. Were you still excited for this?
I
I'm
was.
curious. You were?
I was because James Gunn is the only filmmaker in the MCU to currently who has showed time and time again that he doesn't conform to necessarily what they want. He still uses his own style of storytelling, and he shapes the characters the way they want that he wants.
Yeah.
So I was excited because I knew that it wouldn't be a Kevin Feige movie or like you can watch all three of the Guardians movies and they don't have to connect to any of the other MCU movies. That's why I love it so much. You
Yeah.
can watch it as its own trilogy. It's kind of like the Spider-Man trilogy, even though I'm critical of that one, but still, I mean, well, that's not true. I shouldn't have brought up Spider-Man. Forgive me. Rewind. Um, yeah. So no, but Guardians is it's up there with my favorite trilogies in the MCU um, as a collective trilogy. Um, and three just sealed the deal. It was so freaking great. But what about you? Were you looking forward to it, or were you kind of hesitant? Because I know the MCU. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times on the podcast. It's been declining in certain aspects.
There was a point like between I think it was Infinity War and Endgame where I'm like, oh, I'm kind of sick of the Guardians, and I was just like, I don't like with the whole stuff that happened with James Gunn getting canceled. I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure like how this is gonna go. And then I
Yeah,
saw the Suicide Squad. I'm like, okay, like if he can make like a like he's it reminded me how much I love the first two movies, uh,
right.
and I'm like, man, if they give him the chance to just make this a James Gunn movie and not really a Marvel movie, then I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Right.
And yeah, as like the months went on and the trailers came out, I was like, man, this is going to be amazing, and it did not disappoint. Like I
No, it didn't.
think between the whole trilogy, this is right up there with like the first movie as far as quality
Oh,
goes.
I agree. I agree. My order would probably be 1, 3, 2
Yeah,
if I were to order them.
that's how I feel right now.
Yeah,
It
but I
was
mean,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's great.
I mean, Marvel and I, before the Discord cameras started rolling, we're talking about how we both might go see it again in theaters, and I was saying it's definitely meant to be seen in theaters. I think most movies are, but particularly superhero movies should see them in a theater. And this one just, it's a visual spectacle. Um, all of James Gunn's movies have a specific style to them. It's just
Mm,
he has a lot of flamboyant coloration, um, and I love the way he makes his movies.
yeah,
So I mean, go see it in a theater if you can. Uh,
it's great.
it's,
Um, I
yes,
think too because like the last few months we've had Ant Man and the Wasp and Shazam, which aren't bad but are just kind of forgettable and
yeah,
just kind of there. Like this is exactly what we needed right now. Like
right,
a fleshed out story with like amazing characters and like just just an impeccable movie overall. So
right. Like to kind of feed off that, I think like Shazam, I had fun with it. I really did. I thought it was a really
yeah,
fun
I did
movie.
too. Yeah.
Um, And I think Ant-Man got a lot of hate that didn't necessarily deserve completely for some of the things it was being criticized for, but
Mm,
um, I do think that was very forgettable. The only thing not forgettable about that movie is Kang. Um,
yeah.
like I really don't remember much else, and nor do I care because none of it matters other than Kang was introduced.
That's true.
Um, but like I had more fun with Shazam than I did Ant Man. Um, and there's nothing wrong with a fun movie, and superhero movies overall, I think, should be fun. Um, and that doesn't mean goofy or silly, but fun. You know, you
Yeah,
have an enjoyable time.
right.
Guardians hit that right on the head in the best way possible, plus some more. Um, and yeah, it definitely is what we need right now. Kind of, this is a movie that shows people that you don't have to be done with comic book movies because there's been so many. You just need good ones to come out and not in such incredibly large quantities at once.
Yeah.
Um, so this was exactly what we needed, and it's a great start off to the summer, I think, um, for superhero movies.
Mm. Watch it be like the best comic book movie of the year. At least like one of the three or
Definitely, I
so.
think regardless, it'll definitely be one of the best
Yeah.
coming out this year.
Yeah. Yeah. As far like there, I mean, there's some stuff that I'm looking forward to for the summer. Like, I mean, of
Me
course,
too.
Spider Verse and Blue
Yeah,
Beetle, but I mean, this is a pretty high bar off the bat.
it
So
is. It is.
we'll see how many others come close to that, if any. So,
Yeah.
so I think because if you haven't read the title, this is a spoiler discussion. So we're going to be
Yes.
ripping through this movie, tearing in everything, and talking about whatever. So if you've not seen it
Tom
up until
Holland
this point,
cameo and all.
yeah, if you've not seen it, please go see it in the theater. Take your friends, take
Yeah.
your family. Who doesn't matter. Just go see the movie and then come back.
Take most importantly, take your butt to a seat in a theater and sit down and enjoy the film.
Yeah, yeah. Spend a little extra money. Watch it in 3D if you have to. Like, just go watch it.
I was told to do that with this movie. I did not, but and I haven't seen a 3D movie since. Guys, you ready for this? Drum roll. Maybe drum roll is inserted. I don't know. The last time I saw a 3D movie was Journey to the Center of the Earth in
Really?
2008. Yes,
Wow. That was a
I know.
man.
Long time ago.
Long time.
Uh, how old was I? Oh my God. Uh, I was 5. Holy crap.
Jeez.
But I do remember a little bit of it, of the experience. I was never big into 3D. It was, I don't know. But it's been so long, I'm willing to try it again.
Wow. I was not. I
Totally.
mean, the answer I was expecting was like at least something in the 2010s, like How to Train Your
Hmm.
Dragon. But Journey to the
Yeah.
Center of the Earth, I was not
I know,
expecting.
right? I just made a plot twist for the world,
Oh
guys.
man, it's crazy.
Did you see it
Um,
in 3D?
no, I didn't see it in theaters. Period.
No, I'm talking about Guardians.
Oh, Guardians, no. I was like Journey. No, Josh. No, I didn't see it in 3D. I do want to see it in 3D now because I think there
Maybe
are
I'll do
some.
that
I
next.
think there are some moments that would work really well in 3D. But
Yeah.
uh, as far as my first viewing, no, it was with my dad who was really excited to see it too. We went to our local cinema. We just went to a regular show. It wasn't anything fancy or whatnot, but
Yeah.
yeah, we both enjoyed it. I really loved it. He enjoyed it. I mean, he thought it was great, and we'll get into it. But
Yeah.
tears were there
Here's for
in
Shed.
some respect.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the characters first. I mean,
Sure.
there's a lot to go over, but
There's a
um,
lot to go over.
let's talk about Peter Quill first because
Sure.
Chris Pratt's been on like a roll lately, and
He has.
with movies, like he just did the Mario movie. Now he's here back with Guardians. He might
Another
do a
blockbuster
DC,
hit.
whatever.
Yeah, he might do DC. We'll see what happens with that, I guess.
Chris Pratt as Superman.
Oh god, and Chris Pratt as Batman, Superman, Booster Gold, and the Green Lantern Corps. The whole Green Lantern Corps. It's all Chris Pratt, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And then James Gunn's quote. I just like having my friends to be a larger part of my universe, man. But
Also, my wife. Don't forget about my wife.
and we'll get to her character as well.
Yeah. What do you think
Because
of
she
Chris
was in
Pratt?
Guardians. I love Chris Pratt. First off, I love Chris Pratt as Star Lord. I love Chris Pratt. Um, and he really stretched his wings as Star Lord in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He really played a really nuanced and emotional performance in this one. And he did that with each Guardians movie, I think. But this one, there was a lot of stakes, you know, which I'm sure we'll get to in a bit. But
Yeah.
there was a lot that he was dealing with in this one. And it was a test of character for Star-Lord. And Chris Pratt played it with ease and very well. So I thought he was great.
I like because I was just thinking about this earlier. He played a very serious Star Lord this time around. Like I can't
He
remember too
did.
many jokes from him off the top of my head.
No, there wasn't many.
No.
Um, but one of the jokes, well, it wasn't even necessarily a joke. We got our first F bomb in the MCU, and it was the best intro to an F bomb I've ever seen. I was so, me and my brother looked at each other and we were like, that was so well timed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just open the fucking door.
Yeah. No.
It was so good.
Yeah, I remember when everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh, this is big news. That like it's big, everyone." And I went in, and I was just like, I've seen better." Like it was funny, but like
Yeah.
I've watched other James Gunn stuff, and like there's I've seen things, man.
You've seen the tweets.
I've seen the tweets. I've seen Super. Um,
Oh,
that's a whole different can of
that's
worms.
another.
But
That's another speaking word episode, guys.
yeah. But yeah, I laughed. When it was just like open the fucking door. But,
Yeah.
I remember the rest of my theater was when we were watching it. They were just like pissing themselves laughing. And
Yeah,
even a couple
that
of
was
parents
how
I
my
noticed,
theater
there
was.
was just like, like it was just like, why would they say that? It's like it's a
Yeah.
James Gunn movie.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I think he's great this time around. Like very serious, very like subdued, which I think
Mm-hmm.
was what we needed. Because as much as I love, them joking around with Guardians, it kind of bled over into the other MCU projects. So now
It
everybody's
did.
joking around. Everybody's like, so I like that there was just a little bit more stakes and a little bit more serious to this one. And I think he did a
I
really good
agree.
job.
Yeah, he did. Faux show.
There's only one
Um,
thing that I wish they did with him. He didn't have a
what?
mask in this movie.
Yeah. That's one of the things about the MCU Star-Lord that I love so much is the incorporation of the mask.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't use it.
No.
Because no, he didn't need to have it on the whole time. But he could have used it a little bit. There was definitely moments he could have used it.
For at least like a
So
fight or two, I would have liked him to just like put just that
yeah,
whole
but like
thing materialized on.
bro almost died in space and didn't think to put the freaking mask on.
Yeah, no. No,
Like,
yeah.
man. But yeah, other than that, I mean,
He's great.
yeah, I agree.
Uh,
I agree.
uh, Dave Bautista is funny as ever.
Yes. He was very good in this.
Yeah. Yeah, usually, like, at least with the last couple movies, like, whenever Drax would show up, Mainly it's just the Avengers stuff, but like it'd be like a few light laughs here and there. But this time he really made me like laugh out loud. The part
Agree.
when they go to Counter Earth and like he's he's laying on the couch. It's just it was
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
was funny.
just like Drax, get
Drax, I
up.
see you. I see you in the corner of my eye.
Yeah,
Get
no,
up.
he's trying to. It's like I see you, Drax. Oh man,
Yeah, that was really funny.
that was great. Not a lot of people will give Batista credit for his acting, but he's a whole lot better than The Rock ever is. So
Yeah, he is a million times better than The Rock.
yeah,
He can actually add some emotion to his characters.
yeah, I know.
The Rock is just always fighting for a heavyweight championship of the world in every one of his movies.
That line at the end, I think it was from either Nebula or Mantis, where it's just like you weren't born to be a destroyer, you were born to be a dad. I'm just like, damn it.
That part got me. That was the rough
Yeah,
part.
he was great. The whole time Drax wasn't on screen, I'm asking myself, where's Drax at?
Mm-hmm.
Mantis was really good this time too.
Mantis was very good.
She
Yeah,
was like one of the best parts, I think.
yeah, I agree. And I was always very like, Mantis is kind of cool, but I'm not huge into Mantis.
Mm,
But when Infinity War came out, I was much more invested in her character, and then now this movie came out, and I love her. I think she's terrific.
yeah,
And then she friggin' is not in it anymore.
yeah,
It's like everything fell apart in the best way possible.
yeah,
But we'll get to that.
yeah. There was a lot that I was not expecting, and well, I mean, yeah, we'll get to it. But Mantis was always one of those characters which, like you said, or was just like she was cool, but I didn't really have much of an actual attachment for. And then I
Right.
watched this movie and the holiday special, and I'm just like, man,
Yeah, she was
Mantis.
great in the holiday special.
Yeah, I was just like, man, Mantis is just like is great. I love Mantis. I want to see more Mantis, but now we can't see more of her. So
We may eventually, though. Who
at
knows?
some point, probably, but
Well, we know one person we will be seeing again.
yeah,
If you stayed for that end credits scene,
I did. I
which I'm
almost
sure you
walked out.
did.
Lately, when it comes to Marvel movies, it's just like I don't want to watch end credit stuff because usually they leak it online like a day prior. So
Right.
it's not as fun as it used to be
It's
when it's
not now. No,
yeah.
go ahead.
It's like like you go to a late showing, you're there till like 2 in the morning, and you're waiting for like the end credits to finish up, and it's just now it's
Right.
just like, oh, better post it on TikTok, so just ruin it
Yeah,
for everyone. So
I
usually
hate
now I
that
just
crap.
leave, but
Yeah, most of the time, I usually leave after the mid credits scene.
yeah,
Um, but for me, I was like, okay, considering this is the last movie, maybe they have something special planned.
mm,
And I've been, I deleted Twitter ages ago. At
right,
least on my phone, I did. I still have it on my laptop, but so I haven't been seeing any leaks at all anywhere. Um, there's Instagram, but I don't really scroll through like the feed or whatever.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I steer clear from that stuff, but
mm,
it's so annoying because it just ruins the experience for everyone else. Because the special thing about old MCU is like everybody would stay in the theater together, and then you'd have like this same reaction, like everybody at the same time
yeah, no,
gasp.
yeah,
Now it's just like, yeah, bro, yeah, I saw that on Twitter the other day, bro. I told you it was crazy.
mm,
Like, all right, man. And there was these obnoxious kids in my theater. I don't know if you had an issue like this at your Guardian showing, but a whole batch of teenagers was sitting in our seats that we paid for, and me and my brother were like, guys, you're in our seats. They wouldn't move. And then they went, there's some open seats over there. And I'm like, bro, you're 14 years old. And they just wouldn't move. So we sat in these other seats. Thank God nobody bought those seats. Like, thank God.
I can't say I've had that, but I could understand the trouble. That it's just like, man, it's like you fucking teenage piece of shit.
Yeah, and they were just like sitting over there laughing. The one chick and kid were like making out the whole time, and they were taking selfies with their flash on. I was so pissed off. I was like, I'm ready to go over there and hit these kids, but then
Mm.
I will get arrested because I'm older than
I
all
know.
of them.
I
Long
probably
story
would have had
short,
that thought too, where it's just like, man, I'm just trying not to beat up these teenagers
yeah,
in front of everyone.
yeah. So, but yeah, that happened to me. I just wanted to tell the world that if you see any teenagers like that at a theater and you're young enough, beat them up.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next character. Kevin Bacon.
Kevin
No,
Bacon
so he is in the movie, sort of. No,
makes a
um,
cameo. Yeah.
he does. Um, let's talk about Gamora.
Was not expecting like her to be part of the Ravagers.
Me neither. I wasn't expecting half the things that happened with her character in that movie.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, especially the ending. Um, I thought, I think the hopeful side of every like Guardians fan or someone that's been keeping up with these movies since the first one was like somehow her and Peter will end up together.
Right.
Um, and you know, it's weird because we never actually see them kiss. Um, at
No.
least, like, I don't think ever. Was there a kiss in Infinity War, or there almost was a kiss in Infinity War?
I think there was one in Infinity War, but
Well, in any Guardians movie, guys, we've never seen Gamora and him kiss.
that's true.
And you know, they obviously they were talking about in the second one this kind of unspoken thing. Um, but you know, they never actually show that affection. So I was really sad that we'll never get to see that, and it was very sad for Peter's side of things. Like it genuinely was like tearing at my heartstrings a little bit. I was like, man, that's heartbreaking.
Hmm.
And that the especially the line towards the end where she said, "I guess we were a lot of fun," and Star-Lord's like, "You have no idea." I
Yeah, the
was like,
part when
"Dude, you're."
she's looking through the backpack and stuff, like you can see
Oh
the
yeah,
gears start to turn, and that was the moment where I'm like, maybe they could make it work or something.
yeah. Well, I was thinking sort of somewhere along the lines of because it is the same character. Um, it's not like a different Gamora. It's just a Gamora with a different set of things that ended up happening
Mm.
because Endgame screwed the timeline up.
Mm.
Um, but you feel like there would be a sort of like a deja vu effect with her. Like she would kind of know who Star Lord is somewhere in her consciousness, even though she never actually met him, because a version, well, not even a version of herself from the future met and fell in love with Star Lord, but
Right.
it
Yeah.
obviously didn't end up working out. So Michael Rosenbaum made an appearance though. Lex Luthor, baby, give him a hand. He escorted her onto the ship.
Yeah. Yeah,
Had
he
his
did.
one line. He had one line in the second movie too. He's just like, "What do we do?" And then in this one, "You ready to take off, Gamora?" I'm like, dude did him dirty. He better get recast as Lex Luthor.
Mm. Yeah, I saw something where it's just like, man, it's like Michael Rosenbaum back as whoever that guy was, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see him. And
Whoever
then
that guy.
and then he just shows up with Gamora, and I'm like, okay, I was like, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, and then also you got like Sly there too, Sly Stallone, him just
Oh God.
being
Yeah.
Sly Stallone. So
Yep.
I thought there'd be more of
Okay.
him, but whatever,
So did I.
it's fine.
I um. But also, I wanted to ask, what did you think of Zoe Saldana's performance in this one? Because
I
she
th-
always plays a very strong, compelling Gamora. I
mhm.
think.
I thought she was really good. I wish we could have seen a bit more of her. Um,
I agree.
because it feels like there are parts where she's just absent, and like
I
they just
agree.
kind of forget about her. But I think she was really good. I liked the change up a lot with her being part of the Ravengers and her just being just an asshole. Like, it's just
Completely opposite of what she was.
yeah. It was a nice change of pace, and thinking about it now, like as much as I would have loved to see them get back together, part of me was just like, it makes sense why they didn't, and
Right.
maybe down the line we could see something like that, but who
Right.
knows? Um, I guess since we're talking about Gamora, Nebula is
Yeah.
great.
She was great in this movie. It's nice to see Nebula taking the side of the heroes,
Mm,
um, especially because I don't know, her story was always compelling to me.
yeah,
Um, Especially when they really flesh it out in Infinity War.
right.
It was great.
Her and Peter had really good chemistry in
Good.
this movie.
I was. They really did. Um, it all has to do with Thanos picking a pretty set, but
That's right.
it was. Um, yeah, I think Karen. I don't know. I don't want to screw up the last name. Gillen.
Gil-
Gillen.
yeah,
Is it Gillen?
Karen. Yeah,
Karen. Karen Gillan is great in that role, and I hope that we see her again. I'm sure we will.
yeah.
Um, she's kind of looking after nowhere at
Mm-hmm.
this point. Um, but I would love to see her again, and I thought, yeah, I'm the same way. Her chemistry with Chris Pratt was really really good in this
It was
movie.
great. I mean, we mentioned that part with the pretty set, but the other one where they're in the elevator and Peter's talking about like all the stuff that happened to him, and and she's just like, "So I missed out a few things." Yeah, pretty much, pretty much got it.
That was so funny.
I laughed.
Uh, oh yeah.
It was hilarious.
Um,
Um, and yeah, she was out of all the characters, like she was one of my favorites throughout. I think
yeah.
it was like Rocket, Mantis, and then like Nebula and Drax. Like those are the top four.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, speaking of next characters to get into, let's talk about Groot because I want to save Rocket for last
Yeah.
because there's a lot to go over with Rocket.
Oh boy. Yeah. Groot. I don't know. Mm, I mean, Groot is Groot, right?
Groot is Groot.
I was kind of happy to see him as an adult again
Me
because for
too.
years it was just like it
Baby
was
Groot.
either like baby Groot or like teenage Groot, and I'm like, I want to see adult Groot back. And then they
I
come out
missed
with
the original one,
yeah,
the original OG Groot from
that's
Guardians One.
that's what I was expecting to come back, and then we just get this brick shit house.
It's literally Vin Diesel. Literally just Vin Diesel in a bark costume.
just Groot on steroids.
Yeah. Like I think as the movie goes on, you get more used to it. You're like, okay, yeah, it looks a little wonky
But
sometimes,
yeah,
but it's fine. Like
it's fine. Yeah,
nothing too crazy. I think Groot had some very heartwarming moments in this movie, though. I think Groot always has heartwarming moments. I also feel like that's kind of what he's there for, and I
fucking
wish they.
fucking
No,
scene
go
at
ahead.
the very end. That was probably
I know I love
the
you guys.
standout moment of his. It's just like I
It
love
was.
you guys, which I
He's
saw.
not actually saying that
No,
though.
he's not.
He is saying I am Groot, but
It,
we finally get to hear what he is saying.
yeah, it's supposed to be the audience understanding what he's saying and not him actually talking in
Right.
sentences or what.
I think that's so cool of James Gunn to put that in there. Um, at first, when I first saw it, I was like, "There's no way he just said
I
I
know,
love you
I
guys,"
know. I saw it too, and I'm just like, huh? It's like that's different.
because it's like you're not hearing I am Groot, you're just hearing Vin Diesel say
Yeah,
I love you guys, and I'm
it's just
like,
Vin
"Oh, this
Diesel.
is Fast and the Furious." Like,
You're my
this is the
family.
it's all about family. I'm like, no, we're already getting Fast 10. We don't need any more Vin Diesel talking about family.
I'm not
But
seeing it
yeah, I
really.
think I haven't se- I've never seen one in theaters, and I haven't actually ever cared about those movies, really. Um, the last one I saw in full was the first one. I've seen bits and pieces of other ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't care about those movies.
Yeah, no.
Um, yeah, heartwarming moments from Groot though, and that moment especially was really nice, especially the meaning behind it and um, kind of a nod to the fans who have stuck with these movies for 10 years now. You know.
He also had that
Um,
really good action bit with Peter where, like, all those tendrils just
yes,
had guns and stuff. Like, they're just shooting
that was
him.
so cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Um, Great third act in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, the whole movie, Act 1 through 3 was great, but
Pacing was just great overall.
it really was. And I'm surprised. So a nitpick with freaking critics, and we all know, ladies and gentlemen, if you base your movie going experience off of critics, what are you doing? But Guardians 1 has the worst ratings out of the Guardians movies. Guardians 2 has the best, and Guardians 3 is in the middle.
Hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me because Guardians 3 is clearly better than 2, and 1 is way better than 2, and is a little bit better than 3.
Hmm.
So screw you, Rotten Tomatoes.
I know.
But other than that, um, yeah, like, oh, you know what? Before we get to Rocket, let's talk about Adam Warlock
Man.
because he came in really abruptly.
He was probably, like, he's probably my least favorite character, but
I agree.
yeah. It's just like he comes out of nowhere, first of all. Um,
But,
and
well,
then the rest
literally comes
and then the
into
rest of the
nowhere
movie
as
he's
well.
acting like a 10-year-old. It's just like,
Yeah.
"Mommy, just kill this bastard." Just like,
You know who? You know what? Too, I hate that character, the mom. I cannot stand her.
yeah.
Maybe that's me,
It's
but
so sad too because you watch the end of Volume 2 and it's like, oh man, Adam Warlock shows up and you know you hear like he's one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe. It's like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, and then he shows up and it's just like, so I'm a kid in a man's body.
right.
Also, it might have been me, but I thought it was just miscast too. Like I like the actor, I like that guy, but
Yeah, I think it
he
was a little
he didn't
miscast.
really fit that. He didn't really fit Adam Warlock in my mind. The
No.
best Adam Warlock is in the Guardians video game. So if you need
Right.
any other reason to
I
play
haven't
it,
played it yet. But
it's great. I some of the like one of the best pieces of Guardians media out there. So besides
yeah.
watching the movies, I think everybody should play the game at least once. But
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't hate him. I just would have liked more from him.
Yeah.
So, um, Kraglin's cool.
Yeah.
He was another one of those characters where it was just like the first two movies is like, oh, okay, like this guy's,
Hmm.
he's just like the comic relief and whatnot, and then he just becomes important for like a little bit of the Christmas special, more so here, but it's like
Hmm.
he's great. Sean Gunn's like no complaints there.
No, he was really movie,
Yeah,
and the fact that we get to see Michael Rooker make a split-second return
yeah,
um, in that really heartfelt moment, um, and then this movie's filled with those though. Like little moments. You could tell James Gunn was really nodding to the rest of the trilogy of the past 10 years.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a great part.
It was great. Yeah. Um, do we have any other characters to talk about other than
Rocket.
Rocket?
I don't think so.
Oh man.
A lot to unpack here.
So I was a little worried, right? Because Rocket he gets injured very like right at the start, and then for most of the movie he's pretty much like incapacitated. But they make up for it by having all these flashbacks to like his origins and stuff, and it's really like great shit. Like, very down to earth. Like there's a lot of development there. You get to see like his creation and like some of the friends he made there. Like it's all like amazing stuff. And Bradley Cooper like is
Man, he was so
fantastic.
good in this movie.
He is the best thing about this movie.
He is. I mean, really, when you think about it, he is the main character and kind of the focal point of the movie.
Yeah.
This is no longer a Chris Pratt film.
No. No. Chris Pratt is
It
on the
just
sidelines this time.
he is, and it. There was a thing I saw on I don't remember if it might have been Instagram, and it was saying how differently the first movie scene of when Rocket had been drinking and they called him a a rat or something, or they
Right. Yeah.
and he was, I didn't ask to be born, I didn't ask to be made. And then you watch this, and I was like, I was ready to cry in my bedroom. I was like, dude, this is really sad. Just, I mean, literally, oh, it's so heartbreaking. The stuff that you have to watch in this movie about Rocket.
Yeah. The part
Um,
where like he's on death's door and Lila comes out of nowhere. It's just like, he's
mm,
like, come join us, but not yet. I'm
right.
sitting there in the theater, I'm just like, don't do it, don't break, don't break.
Yeah. I was afraid he was gonna die.
I was almost certain he was going to, but I'm kind of glad he didn't.
Me too. Because now
Surprisingly,
he's
no
the leader
one
of the
died.
Guardians.
Like as far as
I was
main
gonna say,
characters,
I was surprised no one died. I thought if Rocket didn't die, it was gonna be
Drax.
Drax,
Yeah,
but nobody died. But they made it even the more heart wrenching because they all just split ways.
yeah,
Um, I will say it's the most wholesome, heartbreaking I've ever felt in a movie, though. Um, it was well deserved, and it's sort of like the feeling I got when Endgame was over.
yeah,
Like Tony just died, Cap is probably gonna die, um, and it's kind of passing it on to whatever comes next. And it's like, to me, that's when the MCU that's my MCU is the Infinity Saga. And for Guardians, like I I'll watch another Guardians movie if it comes out, but
yeah.
and James Gunn already said there's no plans for a fourth, but Marvel, they might get a different director or whatnot.
Which I really hope they don't do,
Me
because
too. The Guardians is James Gunn's
yeah,
thing,
that's his world, that's his vision. So,
right?
but yeah,
But
I was shocked how because the whole movie, like I'm seeing him on that hospital bed, and I'm just like at any moment, like it could be
mhm,
some like something could go wrong or is what you think is gonna happen, but then it's just like, oh, it comes back. And I thought like the part where like he goes back for all the animals and stuff, like it's like, okay, that's the part where he's gonna make this huge sacrifice, and you know he'll finally be
mhm.
with his friends in the afterlife. And it's just like, nope, no. Give him his Rocket Raccoon name, like his full name. And I'm like, oh, okay. You made up for that.
Yeah,
I did really like that moment where like he opens up the cage and you see it's just like, oh, he actually is a raccoon. Finally,
hmm
he finally realizes
I love that part. I was like, finally, we can call
the
him
name's
Rocket
Rocket.
Raccoon.
Rocket is like, oh man, that's badass.
It was.
The whole team just piling onto this guy, which
Hmm.
we didn't really talk about the villain. I guess we'll do that after Rocket,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, no. Bradley Cooper,
he killed it.
he killed it. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the villain.
Yeah,
What a
the
freaking menace.
yeah,
He was a great villain.
I really liked him.
I thought he was super convincing. Um,
part of me going in was like, is this gonna be like another stock generic villain, like just like for like something Marvel wanted to put in? But then I
Right.
remembered, oh yeah, this is a James Gunn movie, so we're
Right.
not gonna get that at all, and we didn't,
No.
which I'm
No.
happy about. We actually got a character.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, yeah, the line that killed me at the end, like from Rocket when they beat him, and it's just like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't. It's like he didn't want to make things perfect. He just hated things the way they were. Just like, man,
Yeah.
damn. He was great. All of his scenes were just. It was like terror. It was almost how I felt with Kang, where it was like he's actually threatening.
Right.
He's not just eating up scenery or whatnot. Like he's actually being genuinely terrifying and threatening.
Yeah.
I would not want to be in a room with him. So,
Yeah.
um, should we talk about like action next?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure.
Some of the some of the best action the MCU has probably had in a long time.
Yeah. It definitely. Oh, it was so good. And
That
one of my favorites
yeah,
is when the. No, what were you gonna say? Go
I
ahead.
was like that hallway at the very end with all of the guardian, like the
Oh yeah.
doors open and it's just a one shot in that hallway. But
Yep.
which one were you gonna bring up?
I was gonna say the living organism space station base.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that was such a good. And then he's like, Mantis played the mind trick on the guy. Ooh, what's your name? With the that was so funny. He was like, "Are
In
you
love with
serious?"
Drax.
Yeah,
Do this every time.
but man, what a great action set piece that part was.
Yeah. Yeah, there was another moment too where like Drax gets shot in the chest and you're just like, oh fuck. Is he actually gonna make it out of here alive?
Right.
And yeah, no, that was great. The that hallway fight too was awesome. The
Yeah,
gunplay with Peter and Groot was good to see.
that was so cool.
There's another one I'm
I
forgetting
enjoyed that.
about, but yeah.
And there's the
Anyway,
one on Nowhere.
yeah. When
That was a
the,
really good one.
that's right. Yeah, um, the one where like all the or there was two of them. There was one when Warlock shows up, and then the other one where all those like creatures show up, and Kraglin just takes them all out with the arrow.
Mhm.
It was great. Special effects. What'd you think?
Well, considering we just got off of a bunch of crappy looking MCU movies, this one looked like God's gift to
I
mankind.
know, right? It actually looked like they had time put into it. They didn't
Right.
rush anybody.
No. It's like I didn't really see any spots that looked a little off.
No.
In terms of like underdone parts. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think of the scene in No Way Home when they all jump onto the top of the statue, and you're
Mm.
like, okay, Toby Spider-Man face just is not it. Um, so yeah, we actually got a really, really well done special effects in this
Yeah,
one.
no. After like Ant-Man and the Wasp, which it wasn't awful or anything, but you can tell that some of it looked uh like plastic action figures moving through. Like it actually looks like real people, and yeah, there was money to be made here. There was money
Yeah.
spent. Um,
Hmm.
hmm. What else should we talk about? Oh, the soundtrack.
Great soundtrack.
Great
I heard
stuff.
some people saying they were like, it's not as iconic as the other one. I'm like, I don't get that at all. Like, I thought this was a great soundtrack.
They
But
had some.
James Gunn always picks really good soundtracks.
Yeah, yeah. It was. There were some really good pieces in there. Uh, that's that scene in the living organism, that fight scene, the music there. Um,
Mm.
yeah, the whole like yeah, it's just another like great soundtrack. All the Guardians movies have like just really good like licensed music, and also like the score too is good.
Yeah,
Now let's talk about the
very
best
good stuff.
thing to come out of this. James Gunn's
Mm.
wife.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Holland.
I saw some people
Um,
complaining on Twitter where it's just like, "Oh man, she's in this too," and I'm just like, "It's like I don't know what
I'm
your,
like,
I'm not sure what your
I
issue
know.
is.
I'm like,
I
it's
don't
his
get it."
wife.
Yeah,
He has all his friends in his movies, and who better to have in his movie than his own wife? Like, I don't really care that she's in it.
yeah. If you're,
She'll be like the Stan Lee cameo of the DCU
yeah.
next watch. She'll be like in every one. She'll be like, so this one time I was fighting these Galaxy Guardians
Yeah.
in like Batman Brave and the Bold. You're like, oh shit, they cross continuities.
All I'm saying is, if you're gonna complain about her, but then when James Gunn's brother shows up and you're gonna cheer and clap for that, your opinion is invalid, sir.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't matter to me if the character, if it's a fine character and it's not stupid or like they just did it to throw him in. I mean, even if that was the case, it wouldn't matter because you know what? It's his movie. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
It's not.
her scene was really funny too. She gets shot in the leg. She's like, ah!
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was good.
She was good.
I think she's a good actress anyway. She's great in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's never at any point when she shows up and I'm just like, oh man, her again. Like
right, me
she's
neither.
always good in whatever she shows up in. So
Agreed.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now that we're away from the elephant in the room, James Gunn's quite attractive younger wife.
yes.
Um, what's next on the Billboard Top 100?
Nathan Fillion. Well, that's not really important, but
Well, it doesn't matter again.
I mean, I like Nathan Fillion. I mean, I'm glad he showed
Yeah,
up in this, and
me too.
I wish though that he could have played Wonder Man, because he's been talking about it for years, or like
Yeah,
ever since Volume 2, and
yeah.
in the Modoc TV show, he played him. Like he played
Hmm.
as Wonder Man. So I would have liked to see that happen, but um, it's never a
Me
bad thing
too.
when he shows up.
No, it's not. He was
Um,
super funny in the movie too. So,
I don't really have many other points for the movie that we haven't already gone through, unless you do, that I'm forgetting about.
mm, not particularly.
Yeah,
The only part I would say we could talk about is the end credit scenes,
yeah.
and then yeah, that's it. Um, which one was your favorite?
It's probably it's probably one with like the new Guardians team with like Rocket and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Um,
that was good.
I watched that one, and then the only other one I saw was is the one at the very end of the credits with Star Lord.
Right.
I don't know if there was
I
one in the
liked that
middle,
one.
but
No, there wasn't.
there
I
wasn't.
don't think
Okay,
there was.
so I did see
No, I
all of
didn't
them.
see one.
Yeah, yeah, because I saw the middle one, and I'm like, okay, I'm like I got to piss. I've been holding in for like 2 hours,
Yeah,
so and then I came back and it was just him like eating cereal at the table. I'm like, okay. But I was
yeah,
surprised though when they said like, oh, Star Lord will come back, and I'm like, what is he gonna come back in?
right. Well, I know one of my friends said he thinks that he'll be in Secret Wars. So the next Avengers movies,
Yeah,
which I could definitely see that happening, especially because Secret Wars and um, Kang Dynasty, it's a big deal.
hmm,
So
yeah. I guess they could fit him in there somewhere. I don't know how they would, but they could
I guess
fit
we'll see.
any Guardians in there.
Marvel found a way to fit in Patrick Stewart only to break his neck off. So they'll figure out a way to bring Chris Pratt as Star-Lord.
Yeah.
They better not kill my boy, though.
He just gets abducted like from the house. It's like, oh god damn it, not
I
again.
gotta be in another movie. Oh, yeah. More Guardians. Oh, God.
He's like, can I be Superman? They're like, no.
No, stay away. Even James Gunn's like, no.
It's like, I'm casting for like a 25, 30-year-old for Superman. You're 40.
I think he's older than that now.
Yeah.
But other than that, is there much else to talk about?
I don't think so.
No. Long story short, though, guys, the movie was incredible. I loved it. It was such a touching way to end the trilogy. Yeah, it was great. And I hope to see it again soon.
I would love to see it again in a theater. I said this in my first impressions video, which was only like 5 minutes, and I didn't really get into any of it. Because, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it. So.
Right.
But I said it in my video. I'm like, go see it, whether you're by yourself, with family, with friends, whatever. Go see it in 3D. Like, just make sure you see it in theaters at least once. Because I don't think it would work any other way. You could watch it on Disney Plus, sure, but it's not going to have that same impact. So.
Right.
This is what you kind of touched on this earlier with Endgame and stuff. This is the Endgame for Guardians.
Yes.
And it's well worth, like, the price of admission.
It's sad to me, though, too, because this is kind of like the last bit of the previous Marvel that we all knew and loved going away. It's kind of like the end of that.
Yeah.
And they're really ushering in the new era of Marvel.
Yeah.
So. Oh, boy. Let's get ready for hell. No.
Let's get ready for The Marvels with Brie Larson.
Oh, God.
You know what got
we'll save that.
You know what got me in that trailer was like, because they're doing Secret Invasion this summer too.
Right.
And every trailer that's come out, it's like, oh, this is Nick Fury's last hurrah, and then literally within the first second, Sam Jackson shows up, and I'm just like, well, you kind of spoiled the end of Secret Invasion.
Right.
Unless he is a Skrull, probably not, but
I hope he's not.
You know. Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of stuff that I'm not really looking forward to, if I'm being honest. Like, maybe the Avengers movies, Spider-Man 4, Daredevil, like, the list is very small.
Deadpool,
right? Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not really looking forward to anything either.
No.
I haven't even watched it. This is the first Marvel movie I've seen since No Way Home in theaters. Like,
really, you didn't see Ant-Man or?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. What an idiot. I saw Ant-Man.
I was like, we talked about this on an episode.
This was the first one I saw since Ant-Man, but this was also the first one I saw since No Way Home that I really, really, I loved.
Yeah.
And it was worth the overpriced tickets that they're selling now, because American freaking inflation around the world is destroying theater prices.
Yeah.
So at the one theater near me, normally when inflation started, the normal ticket went up to like $15.50 or something, or $16.60, something like that. Then now they went up for a child's ticket, $18 a ticket. For a child ticket.
Jeez.
And I'm like, bro, I'm getting 3 children's tickets. So we went as the 3 children, me, my mother, and my brother. They were just like, okay, theater 7. I'm like, thank you. It was $50. It was over $50 for 3 children's tickets. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing that lately. I just, like, when me and my brother saw Return of the Jedi, I got children's tickets. And they didn't. It was like $11.50 at night, and I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna be a problem.
They're like, oh, it's theater 7, and you're like, thank you, like as a kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just started bending down. I'm like,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys.
That's hilarious.
Flash too. I'm probably gonna get my IMAX tickets, all children's IMAX tickets. Those are already overpriced anyway. They're like $22 a ticket.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so that's my theater life, ladies and gentlemen. I just exposed myself. Sorry, everyone.
Um, yeah. That's the thing.
Good
Um,
way to end it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's one way to end the podcast, but
Yeah. Well, guys,
um,
thank you for the ticket sales.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Thank you for the ticket sales and also for watching this video, which is
Yeah.
most important. Um,
Yeah, because it's just us, the good ones.
do you have anything to plug before we leave?
Intensive treatment. Marvel and I just recorded a new episode,
That's right. Yeah.
so go check that out. That was a fun one, and
Yeah.
check out all the other episodes.
Yes. Please do
So
so.
I have that to plug. And follow me
Plug.
on Instagram. Plug that too. Follow me on Insta.
I don't have really much to plug, so I'm just gonna end it here. And I don't know what's gonna happen next episode. We might figure something to talk about. We don't have
Yeah,
the other two here, so
we could
it'll
talk about Black Adam maybe.
we probably got them. Um,
Hierarchy, you know,
the hierarchy of the DC universe, which is
dead, died
dead.
right after Black Adam.
James,
Every time I hear that, I'm just like, yeah, the hierarchy did change. Somebody else took over, bro.
I saw a meme one time where it was like, it was Dwayne. It was like, oh, the hierarchy of the DC universe changed, and James Gunn's like, hold my beer. Um,
Good.
if it's just us next time, then you know that it's gonna be a very focused episode and not just an hour bullshit. So,
I
um,
agree.
but
Sorry
until
to throw
then,
you guys under the bus like that, but it's true. You
that's
guys
true.
always it's so all over the place.
Just arguing about nothing. Um, but anyway, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. See ya.
Bye.